with his paladin deck.
That's right. I think if you look at what Kuno has done so far, he's defied many odds. And so even though he might come in here on paper as a player that's disadvantaged, maybe in his opinion, he might even be favored, depends on how he sees the matchups.
Absolutely. And it's so great to see a Japanese player here at World Championships, where we just launched Hearthstone in Japan just a month ago.
Yeah, that's right. Now Japan can have their own server, so to speak, and have their own community continue to be built up. And Kuno was mentioning that it's small, but they're very passionate and they know each other very well, and they're all very inclusive. So it's not just Kuno playing for his country, but it feels like all of the Japanese community is behind him as well.
Absolutely. And DieMeng on the other side, Amas, what do we know about him?
Well, I just think he's one of the best players in the lower bracket. I mean, the second bracket, because I mean, Thijs and Ostaka are my picks. But DieMeng, I think, yeah, he just has a great lineup. He knows his mechanics a lot. And even though we see here it's a Paladin mirror matchup, both Paladin decks are actually quite different. DieMeng is utilizing the Secrets Paladin, while Kuno is actually using the more mid-range Paladin we used to see him before Mysterious Challenger was introduced. And in this matchup, I really favor DieMeng.
Well, all right, so game number 1 is ready. The players are starting right now. Secret Paladin versus the mid-range Paladin.
Yeah. Early curve is so important for Paladin because of how the way things sequence, like Divine Shields on mini bots, and whoever gets the first muster to pop that shield gets a huge advantage on board. So that's why you want to make sure you plan out your curve very aggressively. DieMeng can use not just the mini bot to trade, but he also has Noyotron to hide behind. That's why he can make such an aggressive point play.
And DieMeng is utilizing those Enoratrons because he has a very secret tech in his deck, which is a Blood Knight, which is extra good. I mean, imagine the Blood Knight being popped onto this board right now. But Kuno knows better than that. He's just going to take the Divine Shield trade here.
Still,
DieMeng gets a good trade here.
Even without the trade, I think Blood Knight will be a super good card here. But there is the best free drop for DieMeng. That's Master for Battle. And with that, he will be able to... Oh, actually, almost clear.
Yeah, it seems like the Chinese community really enjoys these heavy tech in preparation for what you expect to be really dominant. So they're willing to play Black Knight, they're willing to play Blood Knight and Mind Control tech. Those are some cards you might see much more commonly in the Asian server, or Chinese server rather, than compared to West meta.
It's actually amazing that the metagames differ so much based on the server and what are the preferences of the players. But here, turn 4.
Yeah, DieMeng did choose to sacrifice the Enoratron just to pop that Divine Shield, which gives a very, very clear signal that this might be a noble sacrifice. So Kuno, if he just wants to, he just goes ahead and trades it off and establishes Shredder. So yeah, DieMeng has a pretty good, firm control of the board if he can actually, you know, draw something pretty good.
So, Frodan, what do you think about this matchup overall? Who has an advantage? Is it mid-range Paladin or is it Secret Paladin?
Well, both of them technically have a mid-range approach to it, where you want early game curve minions until your late game, and you just want to make sure the draws and the plays line up. However, I do tend to favor the Secrets Paladin because it is the one that can get away by being aggressive. Because the way Secrets work, they don't activate on your turn, so a lot of times you need your opponent to attack into your minions, so you have no choice but to be aggressive and hit the face. That often causes the opponent Paladin to be in a disadvantage, because then they have to really pick into bad trades and get secrets, and then the Venge goes off. It gets pretty nasty pretty quickly.
I have to agree, but on the other hand, if you do draw those secrets, if you don't have the drops on every turn, you might fall behind.
It's true.
Also, if you go card by card, mid-range Paladin has the tools to come back, like lay on hands, and maybe if you're not pressure enough, at some point you'll just run out of resources.
There was something that I believe Team Archon did mention to me one time, I think it was Firebest specifically, that he feels like the mid-range Paladin is sort of like a different version of Druid, to some people maybe even better. And the reason why is because it's so early game curve dependent, but because you can get that curve, you can beat almost anything, just how Druid's very versatile against a lot of things as well.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, we just can't forget that Mysterious Challenger being that one swing turn that, you know, there's not a single Paladin card can just, you know, deal with the Mysterious Challenger 1-for-1, right? So that's why we do favor the Secrets Paladin a little bit more. But it seems like the DieMeng...
Wow! Interesting, a second Murloc Knight. Both can be dealt with with Consecration, which is pretty much the only play available for DieMeng this turn, unless he picks up the Mysterious Challenger on turn 6.
There we go. That's
right
exactly
on time.
What you want to see.
Who am I? None of your business.
Well, it's a lot of No's business at this point, because he has to deal with The serious challenger that has 2 additional targets for revenge, making clearing very difficult unless he picked up consecration.
Absolutely. There is no consecration for now, but avenge, noble sacrifice, redemption, repentance, possibly.
Well, 1 repentance was shown.
Yeah, so we think it's actually the 4 secrets that are not repentance. So there's a competitive spirit thrown there in the mix as well. Yeah, Kuno, of course, goes ahead and trades first. Hopefully this avenge hits the mysterious challenger so that the Aldo Peacekeeper can effectively reduce 2 extra attack.
1 out of 3, and it lands
there you
onto
go.
the mysterious challenger. That's really big.
Yeah, the other Peacekeeper will be super good. Redemption obviously bringing back the 2-1 to the game.
That was so big because now Kano can fight back at a reasonable pace and not feel pressured to just basically be in threat of dying. Because if your opponent spreads damage, there is 2 repentance.
So there is
My
no
goodness.
competitive spirit in the list, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, it's not very commonly seen, but 2 repentance is something that you can tech in if you anticipate, the Ancient of Wars and a lot of those types of cards.
It's really hard to play around the first one. You will mostly expect it after Mysterious Challenger,
Sure.
but you will never expect the second one.
And that consecration just dealt 10 damage across the
Man,
board. And
it's a lot.
Yeah, DieMeng has informed control of the board. Kuno, on the other hand, doesn't seem like he can play a lot of cards.
Well, he does have Sylvanas, which would complicate a lot of combat math for DieMeng. Most likely, it would just end up him feeling like his opponent has to trade, so he'll attack very aggressively. But it's not over yet, especially because DieMeng didn't take that turn to develop Dr. Boom.
Yeah. On the other hand, he still has a board that is threatening and needs to be dealt with, and Kuno doesn't have the way to deal with this board right now. Juggler will provide him with maybe 1 knife, so he still needs to find a board clear. Something like Master for Battle. Equally, Knife Juggler, Master for Battle will be enough to clear the board.
Yeah, that's right. Putting everything to those low health minions is very good for Knife Juggler, but does he have enough time? Because a lot of times with Dr. Boom and inevitably with Mysterious Challenger drawing more cards, you're more likely to hit Tyrion. This is going to be very hard for Kano to stop the pressure.
And that's not a consecration of the second Murloc Knight. So is there anything he can do here?
Yeah, maybe there is some interesting creative play you can do with equality and perhaps trading Sylvanas, Knife Juggler, throwing 1 knife. But it's going to be pretty difficult here.
Yeah, the key is that he has to just not die next turn. So that's entirely dependent on stealing Dr. Boom away from the other side of the field.
Well, I mean, the safe play would be to, kill the Dr. Boom with equality of the Sylvanas.
Sure.
Yeah, and then steal 1 of the minions and maybe kill 1 more with the knife from the Juggler.
Well, obviously you want to steal the Boom Bot because it's like a trading 2 for 1, right?
That's
it just kills, 1/1/1, and then Death Rattle kills another 1/1.
And he still has Trussel versus some potential healing. Maybe if he stabilizes, he can get Lay on Hands.
There is also Avenge waiting on the other end of this, and whatever it lands on could also be disastrous.
That's actually really good.
Yeah, that is really good. That sets up a much better trade.
Killing the Boom, and he's stealing the bomb. So 4 damage incoming, 6 with the Cockhammer.
That's really the perfect scenario that Kano is looking for to get back in the game. And of course, DieMeng here is just going to swarm the board again. And Paladins, outside of Consecration, doesn't really have a great way of dealing 1 damage after the Snipe Juggler dies.
The thing is, this is the moment to trade, and if Kuno picks up Lay on Hands, that's actually a lot of heal that he can get.
That's true.
Yeah, that'd be huge, considering that he can restore enough life to stay alive and probably develop things on the next turn, considering that there's not much power on DieMeng's board.
Oh, let's see where the Boombot goes.
The bomb kills the Mysterious Challenger.
That's really disappointing for DieMeng. I think he really wanted to deal with Murloc Knight, but in any way, he's just going to still go very aggressive because he needs to get his opponent's health very quickly down to 0 because 1 Tyrion could completely swing this game around.
Yeah, Tyrion will be super powerful, really hard to get through, and then DieMeng will need something like an R&D Gal maybe if he even plays it.
Some Secret Paladins do play a Silence. And almost any tech is viable if you really think about it. However, one thing is that these guys have been playing for about a week now, so almost all the cards are known to their opponents in terms of deck lists.
Now, I like DieMeng's attack here. It basically sets up lethal because there is 7 health of Kuno. And now, Kuno really needs to fish for a charge Murloc.
Yeah, there is no taunt Murlocs. True Sword Champion will keep him alive just barely. But almost any source of damage here for DieMeng is enough.
Yeah, that's 6 points of damage incoming, so...
True Silver will be fine.
No,
I'm
not
not
quite.
sure is not having him here, but it's still a great minion to play, and just pressuring Kuno, putting him in a situation where he can't come back.
He needs a taunt. That's it. He's just run out of time. He can't kill off the flood of minions too much. He's just dead to a weapon hit. He needs some kind of taunt.
And that's not quite it, but of course, there's always the Happy Birthday of Doomsayer.
It is a 1 in, what, 75 chance, basically?
Or 80.
Yeah, it's very unlikely.
Yeah.
He's going for the Murloc.
Oh, there's the charger that he was looking for last turn.
A bit too late.
Explosive Sheep also might be good.
That's right. So Explosive Shape, Unstable Ghoul then.
Unstable Ghoul could be could actually keep it out. So there's a few outs here.
So because of Unstable Ghoul, you want to hit the Shredder with your 1-health creatures. And perhaps save the 3-3. That's like really technical.
To arms, men!
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, this also makes sense too.
And what is it?
No.
No,
really.
not the Darnassus Aspirin. So Kano drops game 1. DieMeng from China strikes first blood.
Yeah, Secret's Pally does take a game off the mid-range Paladin. But, we knew that Secret's Paladin was pretty good against the lineup anyways. But it's not going to get easy for Kano as DieMeng's matchup. The 2 remaining decks are just as aggressive and just as strong.
That was his slowest deck, the Secret's Paladin. And everyone generally accepts that to be rather aggressive in nature. So it only gets faster from this point on for Kano. Can you withstand the pressure from DieMeng, who's just playing super aggressive decks, but throwing in even that Mech Shaman?
Yeah, it's actually amazing that he's bringing such an aggressive lineup and doing good with it. And well, the Paladin match was really interesting with actually a lot of differences in the list from those players. What are we going to see next?
Well, I mean, it pretty much depends on Kano, because DieMeng's strategy is quite linear. He just wants to go from point A to point B, point B being the face, and point A being whatever minion or spell that he has. Kuno, in the meantime, he's been playing classes like Druid, which traditionally does struggle against Mech Shaman with how fast it accelerates and how you want to ramp early game. That's one of the key matchups that I think Kuno will want to avoid going from this point forward.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think Kuno is just going to save his Druid for the last game, perhaps, and just get some wins under his belt, get some confidence back, and then just go on from there.
And then on the flip side, too, the same thing with that Warlock, which can be susceptible to Hunter. You're going to want that to probably hit the Mech Shaman, because you can disarm their early board very easily with trades. Implosion just single-handedly sometimes blows Mech Shaman out of the water. These types of matchups, you're going to definitely bet that Kuno is going to try to swap for him.
Absolutely. For me, an amazing thing is that for DieMeng, he's coming here from China, and he's fighting for some more time to play Hearthstone, because he has a deal with his family that actually, if he is successful, he will be able to continue.
Yeah, that's right. We've got a chance to talk to DieMeng a couple times, and one of the things that really stuck out to me the most was describing how he doesn't necessarily come from a very fluent background where he was able to afford any kind of gaming setup he wants. He was just playing at local internet PCs just so that way he can try to get some Hearthstone time. Doesn't have his own tablet, really doesn't have a strong laptop or anything.
Well, he's determined. That's what we can say about that.
That's right.
Absolutely. We actually sat down with the players and talked to them a bit. So let's hear their thoughts.
私の名前は佐藤雄一郎で ID は久野として知られています。国籍は日本です。チームは入っていません。ID の由来は、元は、なんかキャラクターの名前ですけど、今はノーレッジの頭文字を取ったということにしています。コミュニティが小さいことで、トッププレイヤーから中堅仮想までのプレイヤーが気軽に関われるということは情報を伝えるか去年ブリズコン入れた D2 とは、たまに話をする感じでブリズコンに来るにあたってはリラックスしろとのアドバイスをいただきました。ブリズコンを勝つにあたって最大の難関は運ですかね。賞金の使い道は特には考えてませんけどパックを買うとかいいかもしれませんね。
Kuna is just going to buy more Hearthstone packs. How cool is that?
Well, it looks like he's going to need it sometimes because there's a new adventure on the way. So save up your gold if you haven't heard already.
Explorers
I'm looking forward to it. It's next week.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so fast. And have you seen the new cards? Have you guys had a chance to play a bit?
You know, outside of getting my butt handed to me in Challenge Zone, I have not had a chance to go look at the cards. Maybe I will, though, after the series.
Well, I believe that all the cards that are going to be in the set are posted online right now. So you can check out the Hearthstone Facebook for those images.
Some of the cards that we've seen in the opening ceremony were amazing, where you search for a map first, and then you find a map, and then you find a treasure, and change everything to legendary cards.
It was pretty
It's
cool.
not just a treasure, it's a golden monkey.
It is a golden monkey. All right, guys, game number 2 is ready. DieMeng versus Kuno, Paladin versus Shaman. And you know, he's playing the mech Shaman. That might be his weakest link.
It might be, but when you look at the possibilities that you think that people bring Druid, which is very high, you could just have a lineup where you might be targeting a class like that to take advantage of its weaknesses.
Well, I'm just looking at the hand from DieMeng, and it's like the perfect combination of cards you would want.
Just wants that mech warper, right? And almost be 10 out of 10. For
Yeah, and
like
now
how
you have
perfect
double
it is.
1-drops for the next turn, which is just insane. And we know that outside of Sea of Light, Paladins don't actually have a way to deal 2 damage in turn 2, and you know, we don't play Sea of Light. Or I guess there's the Argent Lance as well. So Kuno fortunately picks up the Zombie Chow, so it could trade.
Yeah, but
I mean, you can also
the
do
Rockbiter.
12 damage with it if you want.
That is. Oh wow, no. He's
Okay.
he's not doing that.
So he's not too greedy.
No, yeah. It's pretty logical.
This does effectively the same as Rockbiter in, because you should be able to attack twice. Paladin without the coin can't really do anything to that except Aldor Peacekeeper.
Is he forced to Aldor here? He might be.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good, but the wow, he actually feels certain enough to actually play the Elder Peacekeeper. But that gives DieMeng a very nice Power Mace target.
That's right, and with the Power Mace, unless Kuno spends his entire turn using Consecration, then that means he's back in business with making sure he puts the aggression on. So Kuno needs to be very careful not to get too greedy here.
Oh wow, but double Consecration means he can expend the first one, you know, quite liberally and just, you know, clear the board.
He can also use the True Silver just to deal with the 1-2, and then have True Silver for the next turn, where possibly a 4-drop is being played.
Oh yeah, but the Power Mace is gonna break next turn, buffing it out of range, and you're just gonna have to like take 2 hits off the minions with the True Silver. That doesn't sound like a good time.
Yeah, precisely. And you know, without that mech being in play, DieMeng doesn't have a way to buff that Power Mace. Cards like Cogmaster are not mechs. They need to have mechs on board for it to have synergy.
Yeah.
Absolutely true. But on the other hand, that is a board that needs to be dealt with. But there is this juggler with Master for Battle for Kuno. Where are the knives gonna land?
Just needs one into the Leopard Gnome
That's
for
perfect.
him.
Gets it.
Wow.
That was pretty much exactly what he wanted.
Yeah, dealing with those small minions, only with the 3-3 on board. But he is down to 17 already.
Well, the good news for him is that DieMeng is down to 3 cards. A Doomhammer comes into the hand. That represents a lot of damage, but can't use this turn since he did overload last turn with the Totem Golem.
Would you crackle at all to the face because you have Doomhammer the following turn?
Oh, wow.
Maybe that's too aggressive because you can't kill him anyways.
Yeah, at the same time, you can always roll a Spell Power Totem to buff it 1 more damage. No, DieMeng just wants to...
Who cares?
4. It's not that much, but still, that is some damage, and then he will be able to play the Doomhammer and deal for it.
Yeah, that is 2 turns. Does he have 2 turns? Kuno will definitely have to clear off the board here.
And now the race is on.
Doesn't even want to take that 1 extra damage with his hero trading into Searing Totem.
I mean, the fact that he's at 7 is really huge with True Silver Champion, by the way. But a second Crackle, that could be the direct damage he needs.
But then we do have the True Silver Champion healing a tad bit out of range, so if Kuno finds a taunt, that might be the thing, but...
And that's not a taunt, so this means that double attack for the Doomhammer and Crackle should be it. True Silver...
He doesn't have enough for lethal, does
yeah, he's actually 1 mana off lethal right now.
1 mana off lethal.
The True Silver and Consecration, that is a shame.
So
yeah, or he would have other ways to use Knife Juggler to enable it too, just a little bit short. And he's gonna have to go for this play, hoping that his opponent doesn't have it, but he's just gonna be completely overrun the next turn.
Look at DieMeng, he's such a boss. He's just waiting for it.
Yeah, this play doesn't actually just kills him off the board. So, yeah, he effectively just...
1 damage off.
Wait, got it. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh my god!
He juggles. That's what I thought. All right.
So Kuno is going to take it. 1-1. Kuno versus DieMeng.
Hey, okay, to be honest, you
listen.
didn't spot that either.
No, I thought, okay, at the very end of that,
Okay, I'll take the hit for it.
at the very end of that, I thought there was maybe a possibility because of the double juggles I was counting. So very good job by Kano.
Yeah.
It
found
happens.
it.
It
That's why
happens.
Kuno is sitting there and playing.
And I'm
How
sitting
does
here.
it feel? You're officially a caster now, Maz. Congratulations.
Welcome.
Well,
That was impressive. That was
I'll take up on some more math lessons.
And that was actually really
No
important
worries.
because I mentioned in the beginning of the match, the Shaman can be a weak link in the lineup for DieMeng. So he lost the Paladin, and he might struggle versus Druid. He might struggle versus the last deck, which is the Rogue as well. And
Well, we'll see. I mean, it's important that he got that Paladin win, but it definitely feels like one of those classes that is still one of the, like, it could win. It also is not very favored against anything else. The big things and the question marks are the Druid and the Warlock deck.
yeah, absolutely. Abbas, what do you think he's gonna take next?
Oh, I'm still stuck in the math kind of thing. I just think Kuno is going to
No
win
worries.
series now.
Maz,
He
the
impressed me a lot.
best is to own up to it and then just laugh about it. That's kind of what we
Okay.
do here.
Oh, wow, okay.
'Cause,
I'm learning a bit.
We're all having fun here. That's the
All right,
point.
guys. We sat down with DieMeng, and we have some thoughts from him about some manga characters, actually. So let's hear that, exactly.
我最喜欢两部动漫，一个是《火影忍者》，一个是《柯南》。我喜欢柯南的原因是因为他跟我同一年就出现。我从小就是也特别喜欢推理类的游戏，而且我觉得柯南特别萌。然后他和小兰的爱情我也特别喜欢，就是特别喜欢鸣人那种就是毅力的精神。然后我觉得可能《火影忍者》会跟我这次的经历比较像一点，因为我怎么说也是从一个不出名选手嘛，现在刚开始做起。所以可能会像鸣人一样，想当火影，一直要这样的一个愿望。对，也想在这次比赛下证明一下自己。
So he feels like he is a manga character?
Well, I mean, a lot of people do when you kind of play a game like Hearthstone. Sometimes the draws are a little too convenient. It makes me feel like it's sometimes like, you know, scripted in some ways. Like, how does that game pan out the exact same way? You know, the mind games into Deathwing type thing, or the opposite spectrum of mind games.
Yeah,
Do-
Hearthstone is a game where dreams come true.
Or not. I mean, depends on who you are. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they did come true for some people, and they will come true for the world champion for sure.
That's true.
Yeah, that's right. So going into game number 3 here, an important win that Kano was able to get that mid-range Paladin, which is still on, you know, it's still on uncharted waters. Even though mid-range Paladin's been around for so long, people ignore that deck primarily because of how powerful Secrets Paladin is and how popular it is. So don't forget that mid-range Paladin is still a very capable deck, even though you might not see it as often on ladder.
Yeah, with the Murloc Knight specifically, at this moment, Paladin might be one of the strongest classes, and if you play the mid-range Secret or mid-range with the Murloc Knight, it's kind of like a preference pick.
Right. I guess looking at these matchups, Kuno isn't actually facing the Druid, where, you know, most of our players did actually, in fact, bring a Druid. And that's where really mid-range Paladin shines, right? Against the Druid class. But, you know, he got the win, so it doesn't matter. We'll see if his Zoo Warlock and his, you know, other deck can get him to win.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's right. So here again is an important 50-50 that both players have to look at, whether both randomly or both intentionally, is you want to get the good matchup. Hunter wanted to hit into the Zoo Warlock
Right.
and ends up hitting the Druid instead. So this, I would say, is definitely in Kano's favor.
Yeah, absolutely. If he is able to stop the aggression, he'll be able to pull through. And Darkness' Aspirant is a card that actually changes the matchup. Before, it was a bit easier for Hunter, but with Darkness's, wow, the hand.
Yeah,
Druid.
that
That's
hand.
pretty spectacular considering that it gives you almost every option of ramp early on. Now, there is a chance that Kano might not even use all of that ramp available. Sometimes it's a little too slow to expect that you can Wild Growth and use Darkness' Aspirant safely. Sometimes you just have to hit the gas button yourself.
Well, now he got rid of the claw, so this is a really great card to get. Like, sometimes, even if you get all the ramp cards, you will not have normal minions to play.
All right, well, putting out this Pilot Shredder because next turn he will either with Darkness' Aspirant or Wild Growth anyways. Makes a lot of sense. The only problem is you don't want the Shredder to trade down into things like Juggler. That's where it gets really painful.
guide my lands.
Oh,
Yeah,
he might be forced to do it anyway.
Yeah.
He's getting a minion, and he's getting an armor smith. Whoa! That's a great card.
It's almost one of the best you can ask for.
Unless there's a Huffer. Oh!
Well, such is the way of the hunter life. You usually roll Huffer and go for the hero portrait on the other side of the board, but in this case, what do you think?
Oh, I think you take the free trade off the armor smith here.
The problem is he's facing there can be Keeper of the Grove, so he was thinking about killing the Darknesses here.
Well, I mean, we seen earlier in one of our quarterfinal matches just how deadly not removing an armor smith might be.
Yeah, it ended up being the exact reason that the Warrior was able to stay alive for so long. And those armor smiths against a deck that wants to be so fast, like this hunter deck, that's your bread and butter. You need to have those extra points of damage or else you might lose.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, wow. So many one-health creatures against a Druid. That Druid has a swipe that can be used at some point. There's no swipe for Kuno now.
Yeah, definitely. You're always paranoid about the Druid's swipe. That card is what really defines this matchup sometimes because it can halt all the aggression, and Druid from that point on can just taunt and heal, and even race.
Exactly, and with all these one-drops that DieMeng is running, it actually makes something like Quick Shot much, much better.
What a draw, though. Because he is Emperor Thorson here, trading is not as bad with the Darnassus Aspirin as it would be, because next turn he should have access to every card.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's one more thing also. The thing is that you are kind of forcing Hunter to trade into your minions. If Hunter just goes face, you have Thorson and it will tick again. So you'll be able to play Ancient of Lore. And if you decide to draw, I think it's actually might be better to heal here to Ancient of Lore.
It could be. It's one of those scenarios where you're realizing, I'd rather just live than just try to draw into more cards right now.
He's still in a good position. Druid of the Claw for 4 mana, he'll be able to use the hero power. He has Thorson now, he can use it to trade into minions, and he knows that DieMeng has only one card in hand.
But that one card is a very important card indeed. Owl is effectively going to, kill off the Druid of the Claws in DieMeng's side, because he just wants to end the game early. And the Whirling Blaze is actually pretty nice too.
Yeah, it is. It's +1 attack, and it allows him to ignore the Druid of the Claw, but on the other hand, there is a lot of damage for Kuno himself. If he picks up something like a Savage Roar, then he can race.
Yeah, he can race, primarily because he also has Ancient of Lore to heal him. That'll buy him some really valuable time.
But this also means that Kuno has to sort of clear this board. He has no more taunts available, and he only has 2 minions available for trading. So, Ancient of Lore is definitely an option. Put himself to 13 life. It's gonna buy him a turn or 2.
And it feels like a priority is to kill off at least the Ironbeak Owl, so you can deactivate a potential kill command off the top from your opponent.
Yeah, deny the Beast. And the rate is alright, because he will be able to use the hero power on top of playing Shredder and Ancient of Lore. But hard decision indeed.
And another question is, how badly do you want to go for a 2-turn lethal on your opponent as well? How much are you trading onto the board versus being aggressive, so that way you can potentially win the following turn if your opponent doesn't have the right cards?
Yeah, that's true. At the end of the day, being more aggressive against an aggro deck is the best answer. Because otherwise, you're just waiting to die.
Sometimes the best defense is a better offense, and Drew is one of the best at being able to flip the switch with cards like Savage Roar. So he sets up 18 damage.
There's no Beast on the board as well, so Kill Command is gonna deal only 3 damage. Wolf Rider, that's +3, so it's 6, 8, 10 points of damage, not enough with the Explosive Trap.
So it seems like DieMeng has to trade for something, or else he's just dead on board.
Right, he can use the Explosive Trap to weaken the minions so that if they attack into the hero, all of them will die.
Right.
I also wonder if there's a second type of trap in DieMeng's deck, and I guess we just got confirmation.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah. And that's what makes that Explosive Trap work.
That should be enough with the Explosive Trap.
Yes, it certainly will be. So Savage Roar will give Kuno a much-needed 2-1 victory and put DieMeng on elimination point.
Yeah, it seems like Kuno braved the storm yet again and escaped the aggro deck's aggression 1 turn earlier. And that's exactly what you want to see.
This is such a great position for Kuno, because with this win, he's only left with his Demon Zoo. And Demon Zoo has a great matchup versus Shaman, I believe. It's Ben versus Hunter.
Yeah,